All right, folks, welcome back to part two of our panelists for Hispanic Heritage Month. Again, just as a reminder, we are joined by Jesus Rios, who works at our Christus St. Vincent campus, as well as Maricela Moore, who is the chairwoman of our board. Today we are talking about various topics, and I want to direct my next question to you, Jesus. Because you're in the front lines, I'd like to hear from you specifically. What are some of the initiatives that Christus Health has successfully implemented to serve the Hispanic or Latinx community?
Before answering your question, I want to acknowledge all our Latino and Hispanic community who are working on the front lines. They are right there in the grocery stores, in the healthcare, working in the front lines hard every day to keep America continue going. You know, answering your question, going back to your question, our communities, our Latino community is very vulnerable because day by day they have to go to work. They're in the front lines. They have to go to work to ensure that they have the basics on the table for the family, okay? And here in Santa Fe, we see a high COVID positive on the Latino and Hispanic community, because they're in the front line. They have to ensure that they bring the basics to the house. Even if they feel sick, they're going to work. And CHRISTUS St. Vincent's, in the county of Santa Fe, that we are working together to help the Latino and the Hispanic community. So when they feel sick, when they're test positive for COVID-19, they can stay at home. We are delivering groceries. We are providing economic help. So they don't have to worry about that 2 weeks of working. You know, they don't have to worry about bills. They don't have to worry about paying this, paying that. So we ensure that those families stay at home and we can keep our communities safe. And we can keep those COVID testing low, or those COVID positive keeping low. Also, we have a family action team in the hospital. And that specific team is very special to me. Every time a patient comes to the hospital, COVID positive, we assign a social worker. And this social worker will be bilingual. And this social worker will communicate to the family members step by step what is happening to the patient. And I love that, you know, communicate with the family, say, you know, we're gonna do a Zoom at 3 p.m. and they can see the family. And we can communicate with the doctors, between the doctors and the family members in their language. Even though a lot of families speak English, sometimes they decide to say, I need an interpreter. I need an interpreter. And I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud that CHRISTUS St. Vincent Hospital is offering this to our community. And I'm very proud that we can provide translations and all the documents, all the signs inside the hospital I translated to Spanish. And it's one of the initiatives that CHRISTUS St. Vincent is taking to help our Latino community.
Thank you for that. A lot of good work going on there at St. Vincent and across the system. Okay, Judge Moore, our next question for you. As the chair of our board, how do you see your role impacts our ability to achieve health equity, address health disparities among minority communities, and promote diversity within CHRISTUS Health?
Boy, that's a big topic. You know, my introduction to the governance of CHRISTUS was about 8 years ago, maybe 8 or 9 years ago. I got a call, and I was asked whether I would be interested in serving on the board and on various committees. And at that time, I really didn't know that much about CHRISTUS. Obviously, I knew the hospitals in San Antonio because I have family there, but really nothing more about it. And I often tell people that my service with CHRISTUS is food for my soul. And what I mean by that is in my professional life, there's a lot of stress and adversarial engagement of a very important justice system, but it tends to be incredibly stressful. And my time at CHRISTUS, I feel like, is served for such an amazing mission and goal. And particularly because I have seen in the past 8 years how there has been such a focused commitment on health equity, on diversity, on serving those that are the most needed, for who in many of our communities are low socioeconomic, those in the Hispanic community and other communities that we serve. But being on the board, and I think hopefully providing that diversity of thought and background, I bring my life experiences to our board discussions, enables the discussion and the focus to remain on what I think is a fabulous goal that CHRISTUS has set. And that is to continue to strive for more diversity within the leadership of CHRISTUS, within all levels of CHRISTUS, to achieve more health equity, so that when we are in those communities, we're not just serving when people are sick, but we're serving a lifestyle of health. And I hope that in my past 8 years, by my just having these open and positive discussions about how important that is to me, because I've seen how it can impact so amazingly communities when you have a positive health influence in the community. Going back to the sisters and, the founding of our fabulous mission, this is an organization that believes in seeking out those who are most in need. And I think that by being a Latina serving as the chair of the CHRISTUS board, which in its own right says something about CHRISTUS, I think it says something to the entire organization down to every level of service, that the organization believes so strongly in diversity and believes in the input of diverse people, that even our board chair that is over the system board is a Latina. And I think that's pretty awesome. Very few systems will you see in the United States of a healthcare system of this magnitude that have that kind of diversity at the governance level. And so, as I comment and I contribute at the board level, I never say, okay, I have the Hispanic female perspective. That's not really my intention. But, we do bring that diversity of life experience. And I think that's what makes CHRISTUS such a strong organization, because they're so open to hearing diverse points of view and diverse backgrounds come to the table to make us a stronger mission and ministry so that we can serve.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Thank you both for the heartfelt responses, for the time that you've committed to sharing your experience and your background with our fellow employees. And thank you very much just to the work that you do for us every single day. We really do appreciate it. Again, folks, this was an interview in commemoration of our Hispanic Heritage with Judge Marticela Moore, our CHRISTUS Health Board of Directors Chairwoman and State of Texas District Court Judge, and Jesus Rios, our Language and Access Services Coordinator at our St. Vincent's Regional Medical Center. Thank you all.
Thank you. This was fun. Appreciate it.